Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to the Apex Racing League GT Trophy, live and exclusive here on Apex Racing TV. Well, after a brilliant race last week in Germany at the Nürburgring, head to Florida for round 2 at the notoriously bumpy Sebring. I'm Tim Cox, and we have Dennis Branch in production booth, but right now I'm joined by Andrew Thompson. Andrew, welcome to the show. Of course, last week we saw the 1-2 for the 2 Scottish drivers and BMW drivers as well, Winnes and Mcbride. Do you think we're going to expect the same sort of dominance from them both tonight, or is there anyone else we should be keeping one eye out for?
Hi Tim, and thank you for that very kind announcement there. We did see a very good, strong performance last week from Winnes and Mcbride at the Nürburgring GP, but looking in the practice, it seems they didn't really have it all their own way. Mcbride was in 4th and Widnes was down in 13th place, so the BMW might not be as strong as it was in the GP in this circuit. There's a lot of corners where it's heavy braking zones and flowing corners, which is probably not paying to the strengths of the BMW, but we do have some long straights, the Ullman Straight being one, and that very tricky turn, the Sunset Bend at turn number 17, but certainly one that was at the top of the practice was the guy we're watching on screen now, Tom Bingham of Performance Think Esports. Was the pace setter in the practice, and as long as he can get a decent qualifying lap down here, I believe he's going to be there or thereabouts for the top half of this grid.
So we've got qualifying. You can see that's we're currently about a third of the way through that right now. Now just to a couple of thanks to our sponsors for tonight. Of course, this Virtual Racing School. And look to preview your on-track performance with 50+ data packs for road and oval setups and track guides, data analysis software, and one-on-one coaching. Thank you to them. And also SDK Gaming. You can add live virtual HUDs, show timing towers, use the software for broadcasts like we use tonight on all of our races at Apex. It's well worth looking into. And finally, the Apex Racing Academy with 29 data packs, setups, track guides, integration with VRS, weekly group coaching sessions, couldn't get that one out there, and plus more. Well worth checking those guys out as well. And just having a little look, just obviously with a little bit longer lap here. Everyone not yet to sort of set the times at the moment, just currently about halfway through their first flying lap, a lot of them. Now, interesting you said about obviously the BMWs maybe not being as strong here, Andrew. Of course, the BMW is notoriously good over the curbs, and surely that would maybe aid a little bit to the sort of the bumpy nature of the track here at Sebring. But as you said, the Porsches, they're looking strong.
Yeah, definitely. The Porsche seems to be the strong one. We've always known that the Porsche historically is very good at the late braking into corners and good on corner exits, which there's a lot of turns in this track that have them late braking, as late a break as you can, to try and carry the speed around these corners. Certainly the corner we're watching now, turn number 1 is a very treacherous corner. If you get it completely wrong, you go out wide, as we just saw there, and go out into that dirt on the right hand side, which can put pace to it. So I'd expect to see at least one car in that dirt on the first corner of the first lap with being cold tyres. But yeah, it seems to be good. And the Ferrari as well, always well known for like tight twisty corners, and that's what we have here at Sebring, along with the chasers we watch ranking there, just spin it out on the qualifying.
So obviously, we've just mentioned the Porsche and the BMW. Right now, it's Broom. He is leading the way in qualifying, currently on your provisional pole position. Ironically, he's in a Lamborghini, so different to what we were just both mentioning, but we've seen a really strong performance from Broom in the Lamborghini. Last time out, we expect more of the same? Well, it's not too far out, but if you look, Janowski for BMW, under a 10th, separating our top two. These two looking confident as we see Janowski, the commentator, striking in there and takes a one-way ticket to the barrier. And looking at the time, Andrew, I'm not sure if he might just be able to get one more flying lap in, but I think that's going to be it, really, isn't it? You see, just heading to the pit exit now, so he's going to try and give it a go and see if he can improve on that time. But in our top two, there's nearly half a second between themselves and Hubler, currently in third for BMW.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Andrew Broom, in the last round, we saw him come on really strong in the latter parts of the race. And if there was probably another lap, he would have got that last position on the podium. He was flying, and even in practice, he was quite quick. So 2.00.273 is only probably 1/10 slower than they were doing in practice. So we know that that's a really good competitive time. Janowski doing a really cracking job, being 0.08 of a second behind, and like you said, near enough half a second there back to third place. So there's a lot of room for improvement for these guys out there. And Tom Bingham at the moment sat down in 11th place, be disappointing with a 2:01, considering he was touching into the 1:59. So he just needs to make sure that he has that qualifying lap. He does really well in the races, but he sort of crumbles under a little bit of pressure, and it's all self-imposed pressure with Tom in qualifying stages. If he hooks a lap together, we should see him moving up to in the top half of the grid, but he just needs to get that lap in to be able to get that decent time that we know that he will have.
Do you see that as we were just talking there, Andrew? The gap to the top two has shrunk. Gandolfi and Gickling for Ferrari just slotting their cars into third and fourth place. So Ferrari lock out on the second row of the grid right now, but there's probably another couple of laps left for some of the drivers. Now, it's currently just coming up to 4 o'clock local time here at Sebring, so the track will be getting cooler. I mean, obviously, with it being such a bumpy track as well, having the higher track temperature. It's currently, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen right now, 33 degrees Celsius with air temperature of 26. Last thing the drivers will be wanting is to have low grip at such a bumpy circuit, especially through this section here. Just watching Ovstrom for Porsche head round now. The notoriously bumpy Sunset Bend. You see the car just literally bouncing around all over the place there. So we should expect to see that track temperature drop as the session goes on throughout the race. Of course, it's a 1 hour long race here tonight, as always within the GTM trophy. Now, worth noting, the cars are limited to a 60% fuel tank, so 60% of the capacity. So there will be pit stops, and it was quite interesting last time out as well, Andrew, wasn't it? Because that did play a part, the fuel strategy.
Yeah, it does in this championship. We saw it in the Pro Series that was on before this, you know, where each round was different, which person got the advantage, whether if it was the early pit stops, the mid-range pit stops, or pushing it right to the end. It very much varied track to track, so it'll certainly be interesting to see. But what would be good, Dennis, if we could get somebody just coming around that Sunset Bend to obviously just illustrate the bounciness of the cars going around there, and as Tim was saying, how much they're getting off track. So I don't know if you could pick somebody up that's coming up to the Sunset Bend, or are they all past it and probably all gone past it?
Well, Dennis is picking up Mcbride, who we're currently on board with. He's just slotted his car up into 4th place, but look at the fine margins it is here, under a 10th, covering 3rd, 4th and 5th, and only 0.006 of a second difference between Gandolfi for Ferrari and Mcbride for BMW right now.
Yeah, super close at the top there, isn't it? But there's still a bit of a gap between 2nd and 3rd. You know, it's 0.3 of a second from Gandolfi off Broom, but that's a big gap really from what we're used to. We're used to seeing quite close competitive qualifying times as we go past the 10-minute mark here. So just the guys finishing off their current laps, and it's last chance saloon really to try and get yourself up this leaderboard and try and get into this top position. But it looks at the moment that Andrew Broom might have it covered with that 2 minutes, 0.27 free time there, which is very quick around this track.
Oh, it is indeed. I'm just having a little look at the timing sheet. I think there's only a handful of drivers, a very small handful, which are going to squeeze another lap in. Hubler, Pectavicius and Hofgaard being 3 of them, also Mcbride as well, who we're currently on board with. So we're going to come up to this notorious event, Sunset Bend.
As we see here, like, you can just see the car wanting to bounce out right. You really got to control the speed coming around that corner, and what it will do, it will throw you out, as we saw there, to the left-hand side. And that barrier just before the wall starts is always one that comes up on the drivers and can catch you out if you're not too careful. So you saw there that how bouncy this Sebring track is.
So you might have just caught on the script on, spotted it on that shot there. Mcbride just caught the grass on the exit, so he got an off track, so they went quicker. Time was chalked off, so he's going to stay 4th. Hofgaard for Porsche is just sliding his car up into 5th place for the Scandinavian. Just really giving it all. And some more for Ferrari there. Can he improve? The answer is no. So he's going to start down all the way down in 27th place. But what can Greg Hubler do for Samsoy Kanan? BMW. He's heading to the line. Is it enough to improve? Well, it's enough to improve his time, but he's not going to head up the timing sheet anymore. Just wait for the last few drivers to come around, and then we can bring you up your official grid. Actually, while we're waiting for that to happen, Andrew, do you want to run us through the championship standings, obviously, from last round?
Yeah, if Dennis will put the championships up for us. So obviously we've only had one round at the moment, so Stuart Witness and Matthew Mcbride, as we saw in Track Scotland, getting out in an early lead in that race and very much commanding it from the off, really. Not really a lot going on between them two. But Albert Gandolfi in 3rd was quite lucky to keep that place over Andrew Broom in 4th. Orlan Ginkling is in 5th. Tom Bingham currently sat in 6th. Christian Engelhardt in 7th, who has a pit lane start tonight, so there's going to have to fight his way from the back of the field is Christian Engelhardt. Ian Manners in 10th. Nicholas Hofgaard in 9th, and Paul Robertson rounds out your top 10. And the points all really close. Obviously only one round down so far, with 1 lap will be drop scored throughout the season.
So to take you through the grid, it is Broom with Janowski on the front row of the grid for Lamborghini and BMW respectively. Let's get Dolphy in third with Mcbride for BMW in the second row. He's in fourth place. Be interested to see how he gets on. Of course, second place finished last time out in Nürburgring. There's Nils Hofgaard with Gickling for company for all Scandinavian third row. Then it's Hubler and Petrovicius, followed by Hubbard and Bingham rounding out an all-British fifth row. Then it's Manners and Hupke Merle on the sixth row of the grid. Then we've got Cole Short and last time winners, Stuart Winness starting all the way down in 14th. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets on and how he's able to cut his way through the field. He's definitely going to have his work cut out tonight. It's the BMW driver. Then we've got Zach Edel and Vinogre in 15th for the 16th. Then it's Rafeta with Kindness in 17th and 18th. Then it's Schartzner with get my words out in a minute. Gudici, Christensen and Obstrom in 21st and 22nd. Then it's Fernando Torres in 23rd with Manilov in 24th. And then we've got Angel Pedero with David Whitehouse in 25th and 26th. Then it's James Rankins, Christian Engelhardt, Stocko Masia, Paul Robson, and Loxon rounding out your grid here. 31 car grid at Sebring. The car's just waiting to take to the grid and lining up behind the Porsche 911 safety car. We'll have obviously one lap behind that. As always, a rolling start in GTs, as is the norm within sports cars. And then we will go racing for 1 hour of what I'm sure, Dave, I'm sure, Andrew, is not going to be one to miss and not disappoint the viewers at home.
No, definitely not. And it's going to be a really interesting first half to this Sebring track. You know, the first corner always quite treacherous. And, you know, when we're starting off this grid, the cars are all going to be bunched together. So expect some cars maybe to go off slightly right and use the grass and the mud on the right-hand side of the track. Then coming down into the notorious turn number 2 and 3, really hard onto the brakes to try and get that inside curb for turn 3, which is like a little chicane with 4 and 5. But we always seem to have a car that does try to dive down the inside of that, and cars are just going to have to be aware of that. Then we have the notorious hairpin at turn number 7, real late brake in there to try and get it. So we normally see cars just overcooking it a little bit, but at least there's a big runoff area in that. So that's probably the corners to look out, certainly in the first half of the first lap that we're going to be watching very shortly.
Of course, as you're mentioning there, you know, turn 1 is any of the track in GT is always a bit treacherous. Everyone also tightly compacted up. Throw in the bumpiness that is Sebring, and I think it could get a little bit spicy, maybe potentially. And interested to see how the drivers handle it. I mean, especially in the Porsche 911, just look at Bingham there. But the engine in the boot of the car. Could see potentially a few drivers just losing the rear end, maybe, where they're just trying to take evasive action for something that's happening in front of them.
Yeah, definitely. And before we start, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to Tom's dad, Simon Bingham, who had an op recently on his ankle and is laid up on the sofa, and he's joining us now, watching his son trying to fight his way back from 9th place. So big shout out to him there, and hope he enjoys the race, and hopefully Tom does a good showing for you tonight.
Definitely, I'm sure we'll be cheering him on from the sofa. We've also in chat with Josh Coleshaw saying, "Go on, Paul Coleshaw." So good to have you along, Brad, and also DW Media, good to have you in the chat there. Always love to hear from you all here at Apex Racing TV, and try and pick your comments up. Now, if you want to stay up to date with everything that is happening here, you can do so, of course, if you hit the subscribe button on YouTube, but also we are on Twitter at Apex Racing TV. Facebook is facebook.com/Apex Racing TV, and then, of course, Instagram, we are, you've guessed it, Apex Racing TV on there as well. With everything that's happening here on the channel. Just a bit of a more lengthier lap, and iRacing decides that it likes to throw in a complete lap of Sebring, but gives a chance to the drivers just to see him weaving, just trying to generate some sort of temperature in those tyres right now. Anything just to trying to get that slim advantage over the competitors around them. Just heading along the back straight right now. This Oldman straight, and then they're going to negotiate Sunset Bend, and then we will be underway for the hour of Sebring.
A real collection of cars actually in the top of this grid, so should make it nice.
It's really mixed up, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
We've got obviously Lambo leading the way with BMW, then Ferrari, so top three of the grid, all different manufacturers. Then the top Audi is ninth with Matt Hubbard, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Let's get away, because at Sebring we are go, and look at the jump that Broom has got in his Lamborghini. He's left everyone for dead. As they've got the two Ferrari, so the Ferrari and the Porsche of the slow-mo team just going side by side there. As everyone just seems to be filing through turn one relatively safely. Everyone's sticking together side by side as the track now narrows up. But look who's on the attack. It's Kubler in his BMW. So we also see attacks happening up and down the field here on lap one, with everyone's all over each other. And the Ferrari slow-mo's really losing out there, dropping a few places there at the first few corners, and sort of dropped down a little bit, but just able to get away from him was his teammate Hofgaard. He's just ahead of him, but Kubler really coming on attack there and getting really tight, but somehow everyone, you see Hupka there just running onto the inside grass a little bit, but everyone seems to have got away relatively safely, which is absolutely amazing. I'm not too sure how that's quite happened to see Hupka really feeling the pressure being applied to him right now. The BMW just behind them, and Vidal just dropping a couple of places. They're having to yield, and so losing a place as well. But he's fighting back. But I tell you what, Stuart Winness, he's still locked down in 14th place. Last time's winner, unable to make any ground on the first lap so far. So just coming around, just over half a lap completed here at Sebring. Battles happening all over the field, as always. See Pedrero just getting past Shartner there. That is up into 21st place. But right now, Pedrero, he is the real gainer. He's up 6 places so far for Lamborghini, but there's a battle happening out front. It's for 2nd place. Here comes Mcbride up the inside. As Gandolfi looks to run it around the outside, but he's not going to get the traction. And Mcbride has got ahead of him. But look who's out in front, way ahead of them. 2.5 seconds up the road. It is Brew for Lamborghini. Just see Jelinovsky there having a lovely little battle with Petrovicius there. Just somehow just managed to get through. And wow, I'm surprised we've not had any incidents so far here, Andrew.
Yeah, been very clean opening lap. I mean, Andrew Broom got a really good jump start at the start of that race, and is actually pulling out a really decent lap considering we're only on lap number 2 here, 2.8 seconds over Mcbride in 2nd place. He was fighting with Gandolfi in 3rd. We got Hofgaard in 4th. The biggest loser out of the top half of the field is Julian Janowski. You know, seemed to have an absolute nightmare of a turn coming down out of Le Mans, and in fact, it wasn't Le Mans, was it? It was around the big bend coming down to the hairpin. Sort of lost a load of position, so it might have been interesting to see what happened where he does. We watch a replay here coming around Sunset with Zaka Hugo getting it big, was twitchy. We saw him there, and it unfortunately spins out.
Wow!
Hits the wall on the outside, and he's got to watch his rejoin there as well. So that'd be some heavily damage on that car, and that's the easy mistake to do going into Sunset.
Well, he's managed to carry it on somehow. He has continued, but he has demoted him down to 27th place. He's down 12 places right now, but it's hard to know where to look at. I do feel for Dennis, our producer. We've got so many battles happening. It's so tightly compacted here for round 2. See Jelinovsky, and like he's down 5 places, down to 7th. Not had the best of starts, but can take at least something back. Taking the fastest sector 2 of the race so far on this lap, and everyone just seeming to be happy to follow behind one another right now, and no one really making too many moves as we just ride on board with Petrovicius. That is Jelinovsky ahead of us. It's that BMW. We saw it from Edel as well. The BMWs do not look don't look happy. They're really, really unsettled at the rear, as we just see Bingham. He's coming through. That is for position. That is past the Audi of Hubbard. And that has got him up into 9th place. Yeah, the BMWs, Andrew, just seem to look really, really unsettled at the rear.
Yeah, I don't think this is a track made for BMWs. It's always a notorious one for the likes of the Lamborghini, the Ferraris, and certainly the Porsche, this track. It doesn't really favour the cars that are really fast in the straight stream. Yeah, they'll have some sort of advantage coming down the Ullman straight, the start-finish, but you look at the rest of the track, it's all tight, twisty, quite fast corners with late brake entries, and the BMWs don't really like them type of tracks. And as we can see here tonight, although we got Mcbride in 2nd place, he's trying to fight that car, and what that will do is it'll put extra stress on your tyres. And I was speaking to one of my teammates earlier on who was practicing for this, Tom Bingham, and he was like saying, I don't know if I can handle 60 minutes on these tyres, because the tyres will go off. Now, if the BMW drivers are fighting for grip at this early stage of the race and the back end getting twitchy, then that will be even worse and exaggerated, coming towards the end of the race. So be interesting to see what some of these drivers do when they come in for the pit stop, if they decide to take tyres.
I'm just watching Engelhardt there with Rankin, and just Engelhardt just getting it past there. That is up to 27th place, but Winnesi's really coming under a bit of pressure here. That is Rafter, and he is ahead. And is he got? It almost looks like he's going to slow down, because he's just completely yielded that and really dropped off the back of the Ferrari massively. And he's really, last time's winner seems to be really struggling here at Sebring.
Yeah, I think that may be the power difference with the braking. Like we say, the Ferraris and that can go deeper into the corners, and Sunset's one of them ones where you want to be trying to brake as late as you can to carry the maximum amount of speed. And we just saw there then that how far back Winners had to brake to go into that Sunset with a Ferrari, and managing to get a big gap. So certainly the BMW doesn't seem to be the car of choice as we watch Hubler and Giovanni having a big battle here around the Big Ben, coming down into the hairpin. Hubler has the inside line, so should get the move done. Ooh,
no, he's sort of yielded there, but equally, no, he's had some front wide. I was just about to say that Petrovicius was tucked up right behind him, looking to join in the fight, but Jemanovski's run wide, and what was the start from the front row of the grid? He's tumbling. He's really suffering as the BMW driver. Vertical Grip Racing, and he is tumbling down the order. He's down 11 places now, down in 13th, and ahead of him is Paul Collishaw for Ferrari. And, well, he's a BMW meeting a Ferrari sandwich, because he's got Raffatea behind him for Ferrari, the Italian. Jemanovski really looking unsettled right now, clearly rattled from only losing those places at the start of the race, but then just unsettling him through hairpin turn, and it needs to be going from bad to worse for him. But we've seen, last week that a fair few of the drivers do tend to, they tend to pull themselves together and recover, because here he comes. He's now on the attack against Collishaw. He's going to have the outside line. You see Collishaw just tucking back in behind on the run up to Sunset Bend. But can we see the power of that Ferrari? Is Jemanovski just losing it? Oh, no. Just managing to avoid everyone somehow. They seem to be spinning in slow motion there. And, that's really awkward.
Place to spin. Oh, absolutely.
It isn't to be facing directly against the barrier as well. It's the worst possible thing that can happen. You lose tons of time, and he's all the way down in 27th place. But right now, Collishaw, he's under attack from Stuart Winness. And that is actually him getting... Oh, no, it's Collishaw just running deep there, a bit too deep, and he looks like he's going to lose another place to I think that's, it's Kindness there. Another Scott. But for Audi, and you've got to really feel for Jemanovski. It's not been the start anywhere near of what he's hoping for tonight.
Yeah, no, starting in P2 and then ending up after about 3-4 laps down in P27, losing 25 positions. But Really struggling. It may be something to do with his setup or something.
Sorry to cut across you there. He just had Rafter just banging doors there and really coming off the worst. He's dropped a couple of places because of it. He's actually, no, I think he's lost 3, including from the battle that he was having with Collishaw. 2 Ferraris not sticking together, and Rafter just coming out the worst there. Talking of Ferrari, here's Christiansen, but he is feeling the pressure from Fernando Torres. He's now tucked up right behind him. Christiansen down 3 places. But right now, your top gainers so far are Pajero. He's in 16th place, up 9 places. And 22nd place is Mattia for Ferrari, who's up 7 places as well. See him just coming through. What can he do? Can the Italian move his way up through the field? This is currently the top Ferrari. Is Gandolfi, who's up in 3rd. So we know there's pace within the Ferrari here at Sebring. Talking of battles and Ferraris, Hubler really looking quite racy right now behind Gickling, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see the cars all still pretty much in a long line, having little battles between each other, gaining that 1 place, losing that 1 place. So still
something's
early
happened
phase.
to Gickling, I think. I think he seems to be
yes.
tumbling down the order. I'm not too sure he's on the grass. Is that out of what that must be through
3?
turn 2? Yeah.
1, 2 or 3. So coming around the first corner, gets it okay there, coming down past turn 2, coming into turn 3. Is it Hubler coming on his inside?
Ooh.
Yeah, so a little contact there with Hubler that spins him off. And the problem is there, when you're in these corners, because you're still in a big long line of cars, you've got to find that gap to come back onto track. So that's where you lose even more position. So, you know, tumbling down the order there, back down to P19th, and it just shows one little mistake on this track, and you can actually tumble down the order and be at the back of the grid. So, you know, something that's got to be paid off. But seems to be that Greg Hubler's certainly got his elbows out today in this race in that BMW. Obviously, as we've been talking about, the BMW probably not the best car. So we see Tom Bingham going extremely wide coming around that corner, but managing to keep it nice and stable and not losing too much pace there. But Greg Hubler fighting hard to keep every position and being quite aggressive going into the corners as well.
Well, he's just losing a position there to Petrovicius for Porsche, and that's got the move done for him right now, and he's managed to get past Hubler. What can he achieve? Oh, it's Bingham really almost running into the back of Hubler there, which is the momentum that he was carrying out of Le Mans. They head down the Ullmann Straight. It is a drag race of Germany's finest. Porsche versus BMW. Who's going to get to the inside, and it's going to be close. They're still going to remain side by side. You can see him bouncing across the curves for Hubler, where he's had to run wide. It's really cost him, and that has got Bingham ahead. And now, not too far behind him, it's his 2 fellow Brits of Bingham. It's Manners and Hubbard for Ferrari and Audi. Now looking to try and attack Hubler while he looks vulnerable after running wide and really starting to close that gap up. And he's lost 2 places to 2 Porsches off in nearly as many corners, really, to Petrovicius and Bingham, as we just see the Porsche there, Gudici. He's just it's getting a little bit feistier down the field, isn't it, Andrew, right now?
It certainly is. That first lap niceties have all gone out the window now. The hand grenade has severely been pinned and thrown, and now there's... Oh no, we've got Andrew Primo, race leader! In off the start. That's...
Trying to fit that looks... Is that through the hairpin there, I think? There it is, yeah. So he's on his... Because you can see he was well clear at the front.
A big bend in it, the hairpin, yeah.
Is he just...
Oh, we cooked it.
I'm not even sure what happened there, because there's not really a bump in the track, but just lost the rear end of the Lamborghini.
And, strange.
Yeah, and...
First to 25th, I mean...
From a very comfortable first as well for Broom. He was, you know, looking in the class of his own for Lamborghini out of the front. And now he finds himself tucked up behind fellow Lamborghini driver Engelhardt for Zero Force Racing. And you've got to feel for him. I mean, we saw it last time out as well. You know, some drivers really losing out as Nils Hofgaard. Can he get past Gandolfi? This is getting really, really close. We've got Hofgaard. He's going to be on the inside into Sunset. And is he going to get the move done? Or can Gandolfi bring the fight back to him round the outside? We've seen that wider line not work for anyone so far. And Hofgaard clearly spotting that from in practice, and he's got the move done. And that's just keeps him in second place there, and he's got battles just behind him as well. The two Porsches, Petrovicius and Bingham, getting credit up close and personal. And they've managed to pull a bit of a gap over BMW's Hubler, but got another battle down to the first corner. It's Gickling, and he's got Gudici behind him. He's really just trying to find his way past, but I mean, I would say it feels like he's being held up by Gickling, but we've seen Gickling has a much stronger place, and obviously after a spin it shouldn't be down there, so that's clearly not the case. But Gudici just trying to get that move done on him right now.
Yeah, obviously we haven't talked about the slipstream effect around this place. With that long corner coming down the Ullman Straight, you know, you can carry it through Sunset Bend, and that's where you get the really big overspeed coming into turn one. So, you know, I'd expect a few more passes, as we saw there, a slower driver hassling what was a fast driver at the front of the grid that, although had a spin, to get down. So that slipstream effect coming off that first corner is quite strong, it looks like, here tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely looking strong. Of course, obviously out of the I think a lot of it as well pays out of, you know, what sort of exit they can get out of Le Mans, the corner just before the long back straight. It's Ullman. He's running with Hubbard right now. That is Manners ahead of us for Ferrari. The two Audis do. It's Hupke just behind him. You see him. These guys currently in 8th and 9th place. Bit of a stronger showing from Audi here this week, because the other Audi in the field, Kindness, he is in 11th. So nearly all the Audis inside the top 10. Just see getting Dolphy, and he's now gone from battling with Hofgaard, and Petrovicius is all over his gearbox, and the Porsche really getting the better run, it seems, through Sunset. Who's going to come out top as they race down to turn one? As Petrovicius, he's heading to the inside. Can he get the move done? And I don't think it's going to be quite enough. The Ferrari just able to carry the speed through, but now can Bingham capitalise? One little mistake from any driver here, they could end up losing 2 places potentially, especially in the case of Gandolfi, where they're all locked so closely together, as we just see Niels Hofgaard just getting it out onto the dust there and really kicking them up as the drivers come through. And what looks like a 3-way battle for 3rd could end up being a 4-way battle for 4th.
Yeah, definitely. As we watch here, Lotskin, obviously a lot of front-end damage at that car just coming into the pits. The drivers do get a fast repair in this series, but he will have to stop again. As we said, only 60% fuel capacity in these cars, so we will have to stop again from field. As we watch on board, Tom Bingham is having a good fight with Greg Hubler. Greg, man, probably yielding a little bit of place there, Tom, to bide his time, but Greg's he's just all over the track at the moment, and them tyres will be getting scrubbed. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't change his tyres when he comes in for his pit stop, because that BMW seems like it is chewing up the tyres here. As we watch Tom coming around the outside, as we're looking back from Greg Hubler's car here, coming down into the tower turn. So we'll see what Tom can do to stick up behind him and probably bide his time for the Ullman Straight to try and get that slipstream effect down there and outbrake the BMW coming into Sunset. But not the best of turns there by Tom coming around Le Mans to try and get that, as you were saying before. Very vital you get that decent exit off that Le Mans corner to make sure you maximise the speed all the way down this straight into Sunset.
Just see there not being able to really close up, and the BMW just has a fair bit of a straight line grip, but look at the grip the Bingham's got out of the exit of Sunset. Absolutely monstered it, and Hubler's looking really vulnerable now. As Bingham heads to the inside, he's going to try and slot it up the inside into turn one, but Hubler's fighting back, not letting him get away with it. The BMW understeering there through turn one, and they're still side by side as they run down to turn two. Hard onto the brakes, Bingham's got the inside line, but Hubler still fighting back, and somehow Bingham just emerging through those set of corners as they come around Gurney Bend now. Just managing to get ahead, and almost Manners in the Ferrari. See him there managing to capitalise. But look, here comes Hubler. He's fighting back. You can really see where the Porsche and the BMW are stronger in different parts of the track as they head round hairpin. And it's just managing to pull himself back side by side alongside Bingham. But what could happen? You can see Manners just sitting and waiting, jinxing across the track, because trying to work out which driver is going to come ahead and can he follow one of them through. As Bingham, they're still side by side, these two, no one willing to budge an inch. This Bingham versus Hubler. And somehow I think it's Bingham, he's going to have the inside line as they backdoors once again. But Hubler, he's going to get the better run off the corner because he's going to have the outside line. He was able to carry more speed, and Bingham just having to settle down and tuck back in and yield that place. But while this is happening, it's allowed Petrovic to really pull out a gap in front of him. Nearly a 3-second gap between Petrovic and Hubler, who's at the front of this train. And equally, Hubbard, he's managed to come up along for the ride. So has Hoop Kamel, he's not behind. And right now, where Manners was trying to pick his way through, he's looking vulnerable against the Audi of Hubbard as they come into Sunset Bend. But he's just going to have to yield and settle back down in behind him. But you can see up ahead, Bingham is absolutely swarming all over the gearbox of Hubler right now. And
yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure how this is going to go, Andy. Hopefully they can all keep it clean because this is some brilliant wheel-to-wheel action.
Well, I mean, to literally go a whole lap round Sebring side by side and give each other the space to race well is just a tribute to them two drivers, and they're just not letting up. Obviously, we've got Tom Bingham right on the back now of Greg Hubler's car, the BMW, which, as we talked about, is a bit squeamish around this track, and we did see it there coming up to Le Mans again, getting a little bit squiffy, but
this was getting a bit spicy further down the field here. This battle currently going on over 13th place. This is the battle of the Italian manufacturers. There's obviously, you see the Lamborghini of Pajero in the middle of him. He's up 11 places, looking for more, not happy with that already. But right now he's having to defend hard from Giglin, who's, he's just obviously coming the way back through the field and just not getting the exit off there, Pajero, and it looks like he's going to lose another place there. He's just, you said it earlier, Andy, where just one little mistake and it's going to cost them dearly, so they're now fighting back against one another. Kunichi and Pajero, it's like what we saw from Hubler and Bingham. I've just spotted, actually, Bingham, he's lost 3 places. He's now finds himself behind Manners and Hubbard. So something's clearly happened there to him. So, here we go. As if by magic we've got the replay for it. So battling with Hubler. Oh, he just ran it in too deep into the hairpin, and that's what's caused him to lose those 2 places. Going for Tom Bingham there.
Still on pace though, so can still manage to get that place. He lost obviously the 2 places, but not too much time, so just tucked into the back of Hubbard there in 8th place. But really big battle here. And what you were saying before, these cars are trying to overtake each other, make an over-ambitious move or get a bit wide, and they basically can lose 2 or 3 places in one move. As you see, this battle here for 11th place, I mean, absolutely insane. There's 5 cars there literally side by side coming down the start finish straight, all getting into a nice single column here coming around. But we've got a car coming onto the pitch. Is that Angle coming back? Yeah, Christian Engelhardt there coming back on. So absolute terrible. He was actually 2nd place in the practice, flying, and unfortunately had a pit lane start this round, and it's going from bad from worse for him at the moment. Currently a lap down, so his race is pretty much run, and just looking at getting some points by staying within 3 laps. But this battle here at the moment that we're watching currently is it's just wheel to wheel, changing all the time. So we look at Pajero there trying to go with Gucciani in 14th place, just side by side, swapping positions all the time.
Though, hasn't he? It looks like where he sort of forced Gudici off onto the gravel a little bit as he was just onto the grasses on the corner exit through the hairpin, and he's managed to get the move done. But these guys all sort of trading places left, right and centre right now, and you've got effectively what is their 5-car battle, a 5-way battle all over 13th, but up at the sharp end of the grid, Gandolfi, he is being hunted by the Porsches. They're hunting in a pack right now and really locking into the back of Gandolfi's Ferrari as they come down the Ullman Straight into Sunset Bend. At least not being side by side, they're all able to hug that inside line, which we've clearly seen already. That is where the grip is for all the drivers. As we see Petrovicius, he's into the pits from 4th place. The first of our sort of lead group really to take to the pits, going after what just approach it, coming up to near half race distance here at Sebring. Just see Hubbard just losing a place to Bingham there. Bingham just trying to make that recover. As also Rafter, he's into the pits as well. It's probably a good time as we watch Stuart Winner's last time's winner battling with Adam Kindness, his fellow Scott. So we haven't even mentioned it yet, but your order right now, your top 10 is Mcbride, Gandolfi, Hofgaard in 3rd. And it's Hubler, Manners, Bingham, then Hubbard, Kindness, Winness, and Gickling. He's obviously trying to recover after that earlier incident, and he's picked his way back through the field. He's up into 10th place. Collishaw coming along for the ride, his fellow Ferrari driver. Just trying to close in that gap that is currently around about 5 seconds ahead of them to Stuart Winness for BMW. I think this is where it's going to start getting interesting, isn't it, Andrew? Because where can Petrovicius come out? Obviously, after this round of pit stop, obviously, because he's taking his pit, he has come out down in 24th place. But can he pick his way back through the field and get it up?
Well, I mean, this is where we come into the realms of the pit stop strategies now. So obviously they're really the early stops. Probably the earliest you could probably stop within this 60-minute race to still get yourself to the end of the race. So it'll be interesting to see when the front runners come in, where Petrovicius actually manages to come out. He's in a bit of free air at the moment, so he can just pick the lines he wants. He's got 5 seconds till he gets to Fernando Torres in 23rd position. So, you know, he went in the pits, maybe thought that I'm faster than these guys.
That's Hubler! That's Hubler!
Around sunset.
Luckily, he's able to take it straight into the pits. Greg Hubler, as he just lost it all by himself. You said about those tyres, really, how he was scrubbing them in the BMW, and literally, if that had been a few moments later, he would have been, adjacent to the barrier and facing right up against it, and wouldn't have been able to lose. Well, would have lost a whole heap of time. But luckily, where he spun it round to there, Andrew, he just managed to get away with it somehow and hasn't lost too much time, luckily.
No, it'll be interesting to see what his pit stop time is if he takes some tyres on that, because that last spin would have rubbed even more of what was probably already screaming tyres on that BMW. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of pit stop time he does actually do, as 21 seconds, so I'm not sure what the other ones were, about 20. So no, it looks like he is not changing tyres, so be interesting to see how his car sort of reacts towards the end of this race. But extremely lucky, like you said, to spin at the sunset right before the pit entry, just losing a few positions but not losing a lot overall. And what it does do is it sort of spread this battle out, this big battle we had for 4th place out. So we've got Manners in 4th, Tom Bingham a little bit behind him, and Hubbard behind him in 6th place. So a little bits of gaps now appearing in the top half of the grid where they were literally a big long train. So it'd be interesting to see where we are at the end of the pit stop strategies of where the grid lines up.
So while that's been happening, Christensen's managed to get past Torres for 27th place. But right now we're just focused in the battle between Manlov and Schartner. Ferrari versus Porsche. Two iconic brands within sports cars. As we've got Hubbard, he's headed to the pits from 6th place. Worth keeping an eye out and just seeing where he comes out against Petrovicius. Because obviously Petrovicius being the first of our sort of front runners, as it were, to pit. He's down in 19th at the moment. What can he do? Can he close that gap up and maybe look to leap up a few positions? He's just, coming through into sunset right now. It's just keeping one eye on the timing sheet, and it's looking like Hubbard's still stationary as he comes out onto the start-finish straight. Heads down to turn 1, and it looks like Hubbard's on the pit exit, but it's not going to be enough. You could just see the roof of his car fly past there. That blue roof with the green side sort of stripes on his Audi. Petricius right now is first of all the drivers that have pitted.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see where these top drivers come in, if they're going to use the fuel right down to the last litre or come in very shortly just to cover off any movers. We see there that's Zach Eagle coming off a little bit worse there, coming through. Where's that? Not sure where that was.
I think it's that. Turn 2?
Yep, I think it was. So coming down into turn number 3, gets a little bit on the grass on the left-hand side there. We saw the right-hand side of the track, and unfortunately spins him round into that corner. So sort of a self-imposed spin there for Zach Eagle, who's currently down in 21st position. But we're looking at the battle of Orlin Malganoff in 11th, with Schaudner in 12th, just behind him in the Porsche. So this is a battle for 11th place at the moment on track.
We've got Gandolfi's in from 2nd place. Now, it's worth just keeping an eye on Petrovicius, as we mentioned, because he is the front runner of all the cars to pit so far. Before he pitted, Gandolfi was ahead of him. Has Petrovicius done enough for Porsche to get himself ahead of Gandolfi? Not going to be too long before we find out, as we just watch Bingham right now, locked in a battle with Manners. Where is Petrovicius? So he's along the back straight. It's roughly where we picked him up last time, isn't it, Andrews? He's heading into sunset. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough. I think possibly Gandolfi. Yeah, he's on the pit exit, which is earlier than what we saw last time. I'm not sure, actually. This could come down to the absolute wire. Didn't say it there. There he is. There is Petrovicius. And, yeah, he's going to be out. Gandolfi is out ahead, but that gap has closed up a little bit compared to when they pitted last.
I think it's actually extended, hasn't it? I thought he was right behind the car when he went into the pit lane, so might have lost a little bit of time out there. But this opening lap for him, as we watch a battle here between Manners and Bingham, one Ferrari and Porsche battle. So Tom losing a little bit of time there off the corner, trying to go on the inside, but unfortunately getting his line wrong, losing a little time over on Manners, so has to fight back. But he seems to be able to close up quite well on the cars in front of him, but at the moment sort of struggling to pick his lines to get that optimal line to pass these cars at the moment is Tom Bingham. So very quick in closing the gap down, as we see him here again, just closing up the gap on Manners coming down the back straight on the Ullman straight, and to see how close he is going into Sunset Bend. So it won't be long before these front runners do come into the pit lane for their pit stops.
You mentioned it, and smack on time. Matthew Mcbride from BMW is into the pits. So it's almost like they heard you, Andrew, because looking at the top 4, they are in. Mcbride, Hofgaard, Manners, Bingham, Kindness is in as well from 5th place. Let's talking of kindness, that wasn't very kind there from Chernovsky, looking like he's getting his elbow so on Rafatea there, and just get anything to get the move done. But look, everyone's into the pits right now. It was literally like you were almost had some sort of telepathy and were able to send them all in one go, as we've got Shartner, Manilov, Pajero also in as well, and we see Andrew Broom heading to the pits. So clearly, you're the man in the know here, Andrew, and you know something that no one else does, and when they're all going to pit.
It's my psychic pit abilities. I'd rather have a better psychic ability, but it just seems to be my forte, I think.
Just on pit stops and not on the lottery numbers come the weekend.
Exactly. But,
we just see there's Petrovicius, and behind him, that is Engelhardt behind him. Engelhardt, obviously, he's down in 29th place, so this isn't for position on track. But Petrovicius is going to be happy to see Engelhardt behind, because it means that it's going to at least give him a buffer between the South and Hofgaard. But Manners, Bingham has managed to get ahead of him in the pits there, and I think he stopped Bingham stopped for nearly 2 seconds less time, and that's what's allowed him. But Manners has, it's not really translated out onto the track, because Manners has managed to, that's a lot less than 2 seconds. In fact, it's about half a second gap between those two drivers.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, Tom's in the right position at the moment, obviously in front of Manners, so being able to follow his own line. It depends how defensive he gets when Manners tries to close up the gap on him, which is where you sort of lose a lot of time, certainly if you're trying to battle for the guys out in front of you. So Hofgaard at the moment is currently 2 seconds in front of Tom Bingham, but if these two start tripping over each other, that gap will grow, and that's where drivers sort of need to be a bit more aware. We've got 25 minutes left of this race remaining. These drivers could work together and try and close the gap up to the front runners to make it a big long line again of drivers. But you see these little pocket battles that go on throughout the race, which loses them time. But I suppose it's great fun for them guys having a decent fight with another driver on track. So they're probably happy at the end of the race to just say, yeah, I won that little battle that we had. So probably all not lost in the end.
You see right now, get clean. Vinogre, Gudici and Robson all heading to the pits. They are the last of the drivers out on track right now to head to the pits, but here comes Hubler. This against kindness to German manufacturers, and kindness is going to get to the apex first to descend that position, but really running out wide, and just Hubler looking to capitalise. Can he get the move done? The gap between these two, only 0.3 of a second. Coming out of the sort of turn 2 and Gurney through Kearney Bend on the run down to the hairpin. What can Hubler do? He's sat right up in the slipstream. Kindness has gone defensive. He's going to have his work cut out as Hubler if he wants to try and run it out on the outside. He looks for the switchback there, but Kindness just covering it off, just shutting the door and saying to the American, nah, not this time, mate. You're not having this one. But as we see, this Manlov and Matea going side by side. It's down into Cunningham corner there, and Manlov just really uncomfortable. Sorry, Matea just looking uncomfortable there, and Manlov just being able to, get done.
Yeah, just taking that extra wide line coming into the hairpin, and Manilov just took that inside line and said thank you very much, and nice easy pass for him to take that P19 position as we join the battle here for P13 at the moment. You got Pedrero, Guccini, Koshaw and Javoski, who's probably the worst round out of anybody. Started P2 at the start of this race and had 2 big incidents that put him down to the back end of the field. Oh, as we see a big spin there at the background, and that was Paul Coleshaw again. I think he's had terrible luck, but managing to do a 360 or a 720, having the car point the same way and continuing on, but a lot of damage on the back of his car there.
Just see, I think he loses it all by himself by the looks of things. Just got the car 2 pointed in, and giving a bit of an assistance there from the number 36, and that's what really, it was just drifting and holding the car there. Janowski just was trying to go around him, just gave him the tap, and that's what sent him fully around. Say there, Andrew, not losing too many places from it, but just heading to this back battle, and Stuart Wyness, winner last time out on Nürburgring, and down in 12th place, and I really wasn't expecting that from him tonight.
Definitely not. I mean, the thing is with these rounds, some of the drivers love the rounds, some of the drivers hate. I mean, you're not going to be absolutely amazing with every round that's in the championships. You're always going to have them rounds that are probably not going to be your better ones. So it's just trying to minimise the damage that can possibly be done within them rounds to be able to do as we watch on board with Adam Kindness. And Hubler is pushing that BM to the absolute limits on there. You can see, the power that the cars get away from the BM around the corners, and then on the long straights the BM just closes it back up. So there's different parts of the track that these cars have the advantage over the other cars.
I think what we need to be wary, as what Hubler does is, we saw it earlier on where he, before his stop, he'd really cooked those, especially the rear tyres on his BMW M4, and it was looking, almost uncontrollable. He like zero grip through the corners, and with that sort of aggressive, driving way, he's trying to get the move done past Kindness. I think he's really, really running the risk of overheating those tyres, and it's going to take him a few laps to come back to it. But getting back to the battle that's going on here, Guidici for Ferrari, then got Pajero and Lamborghini swarming all over the back of it. Here comes Jovanovski up the inside. Can he get a 2-for-1 deal here? He's got one of them. He's got past Pajero, as we watch now from the helicopter.
Oh, a bit of squirrely out there.
Just the one there. But Guidici just managing to hold on to it somehow there.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
No, it's not over yet. It looks like here comes the Lamborghini yet again of Pajero. But now only just showing his nose to the front side. But this is trading places all the time as Guidici just running a bit wide, and Jovanovski now, where he's got from battling with Pajero, he's now right up onto the gearbox of Guidici.
Definitely was lucky to save it as we watch Hoopla managing to get the pass on Kindness coming down to the hairpin there. So just outbreaking the Audi driver to manage it to take over that position from him. But we're joined us back there. Janowski just getting down the inside here of Guidicini for P number 13 at the moment. So trying to get a best recovery as he can do at the moment. Doing a great job actually, considering he was at the back of the field and he was all over the place. So managing to get his place, but Guidicini's not going to let him get away there in P13. So we'll probably close up on this tight bit here where the BMW seems to be a little bit slidey, a little bit wide and cumbersome coming around these corners. So this is where the faster, nimbler cars of the Lamborghini and the Ferrari will close up on the back of the BMW. But then
obviously the Lamborghini just really, I think he lost it on corner exit to Pajero there, and he's dropped right off the back of this group. There's a rough air just managing to get past, and it looked like it was a bit of an unforced error.
The inside curb too much? No, he stayed on the curb on the outside too much.
Yeah, just managed to hold it luckily, and only just losing the one place, but he has lost a bunch of time. But here comes Bingham. This is Hofgaard ahead of him. It's Porsche versus Porsche. Yeah, Bingham just really tucking up into turn one, just hugging that inside wall, and he's all over back of the Scandinavian right now. Jinxing left, jinxing right, trying to make him look into his mirror, just trying to distract him, make him look elsewhere other than the apex and his braking points to force through an error so that he can try and squeeze his way past. Of course, with these cars being obviously identical, it's only going to be set up differences between them, which won't make too much of a difference because these drivers very evenly matched on pace. So we just see, I think that is Manners, and it says Hooker getting past Manners there. And that has got, we've hardly mentioned Arthur Hooker tonight, but he's up to 7th place for Audi, and also with Kindness just getting his ahead of Gickling and that. We've managed to get all 3 Audis in the top 10 at the moment. Don't want to put Curse the commentator onto them at all.
You already have.
Because, yeah, I think I probably already have, haven't I? I think I'll keep stum on that one. But with Seafair's race distance, just running for your top 10 right now. It's Mcbride, Gandolfi, Petrovicki. It's brilliant drive from him to 3rd. Hofgaard, Bingham, Hubbard, Hubka ML, Manners, Hubler and Kindness rounding out your top 10 here for round 2 at Sebring. But it's definitely going to change with 17 minutes roughly left on the clock of this hour-long race. I feel, Andrew, it's going to be more mistake made by someone because everyone seems to be relatively evenly matched, and that seems to be the only real difference between the drivers.
We've got these little pocket battles. We've got this battle that we're watching on screen, looking back from Hofgaard's vehicle with Tom Bingham right on his tail. Like I said, Tom closes up really well. He just needs to have that last bit of oomph to try and get that pass done on Hofgaard here.
With Bingham, do you think he's maybe running a little bit more rink because he looks incredibly competitive through the corners, but he seems to be lacking that little bit of an edge when it comes to the straight, as we just see Manners here battling with Hope Kamel. And actually just managing to get the head there somehow. Brilliant little move, which has actually left Hope Kamel vulnerable to Hubler, who's now absolutely all over the back of him as he gets a bit wider. They're going to go side by side. Manners was getting onto this grass as well and kicking up some dirt, but here comes Kindness in the background. What can he do? He's at the back of this train, and Hope Kamel's lost about 3 positions in as many corners and finds himself at the back of this 4-car train, well, it's now a 5-car. That's Gickling up in the background there in his Ferrari. He's managed to join up with them. Well, they've all been battling, and yeah, just go back to our original question. Everything started happening. Do you think with Tom Bingham, maybe he's just carrying a little bit more wing, and that's what's not allowing him to, you know, pull alongside and on the Ullman Straight?
Yeah, I think that's probably exactly it. Tom does like to have more of a downforce to be more competitive through the tight, twisty parts of the section. But obviously that will put pay to the straight line speed when you're trying to get it past. So he's able to close up quite nicely on Hofgaard, as you can see there. It's like 1/100th of a second between Hofgaard and Bingham, so Bingham's managed to close up massively on the back of Hofgaard again, but it's that last little movement that he needs to try to do to take him past Hofgaard. But as we see here, a great pass there by Ronald over Pajero that ran the outside. That was a ambitious move.
Spectacular. It was absolutely, it was done
great
with
move.
German efficiency, his true heart there for the German. And Pajero, he's that Lamborghini looking a little bit vulnerable right now. Especially, he's really trying to tuck up behind us. We've just got in the background there. I think there's that Manners and just battling out with someone. But yeah, he's running wide, and we've seen this outside line does not work for anyone. And now he is alongside Manilov. They're going to go side by side down into turn 1. And who's going to come out on top? Because Pajero, he's going to have the inside line for turn 1 as they bang doors. Oh, no, there's contact. And they've both been sent spinning down at turn 1. As Pajero just hitting the barrier and Manilov managing to keep it out.
It's coming down side by side here, and we've got Pajero on the inside and Manilov on the outside, and just slightly coming along. You know, I'm surprised we haven't had more of these instances, the amount of side-by-side action be coming around into turn 1, because the inside card will get pushed out wide in that, as we saw there, and unfortunately Pajero just tucked into Manclub there to unfortunately take them both out of that, what was turning into an epic battle. I think they've been battling out for the 47 minutes of this race.
I think, yeah, they've hardly seem to have left each other alone, those two, and talking of not leaving each other alone, this battle, they're absolutely all over each other, and they continue to be, from Hubler all the way, from Manners pretty much, all the way down to Gickling, who's at the back of this train. You can see his black and yellow Ferrari, the slow-mo team's colours, being more proud here at Sebring. Also 2 Audis in front of him, of Hooker just in front of him, then Kindness ahead of him, Scott. But I'll tell you what, we have hardly mentioned Matthew Mcbride, and yet another efficient drive from him. And I feel like I've got a sense of deja vu, because it was a very similar gap as well last time out at Nürburgring. He's nearly 5 seconds clear of second place, which is currently Gandolfi, and nobody really seemed to have an answer for him, as we see Gickling just really getting in amongst the Audis here and not being able to get anything done. But yeah, I mean, Mcbride, what a drive from him once again, and a very similar gap as well to what he had at Nürburgring.
Yeah, so he's the one that's going to real profit out of today's race. Obviously coming second in Nürburgring over his teammate Witness, who's currently down in P12 and obviously managed to get in first place. So he will head out the championship going into round 3, but just opens up the field for the rest of the drivers here. And we're watching an epic battle here for 4th place between Hofgaard and Bingham, and I've been watching the timing tower between these two, and it's been like an accordion. So Tom gets onto the back of Hofgaard, and then he manages to pull it out half a second. Then Tom gets onto the back of him. It's just, I think, exactly like you say, it's that last little bit, and it's probably all down to the downforce down the straights of why he can't get past Hofgaard at the moment. But Tom will bide his time, and hopefully, you know, capitalise on some sort of mistake. But they've been sort of nose to tail for the past 10-15 minutes, so it's very unlikely that Hofgaard is buckling under the pressure. But one of the things to notice is obviously we've got a few drivers in here tonight as well. So Petrovikas, who's currently in third place, is new to the championship. The guy we're watching on screen now, Hup Kameli, in ninth place, a new member into the championship. So, you know, always welcoming new members, and it's good to see that the newcomers to the championship are not daunted by the prospects of being in this and are putting on a really good show for themselves.
The two black Ferraris there battling out Rafter and Gudici. Shartner is tucked up right behind in this Porsche. You can see there's hardly anything separating them as they come down the Ullman Straight. Who's going to come out on top as they're going to go side by side? And well, it's going to be really, really close. And I think Rafter, where he's had to take that outside line, he's going to struggle. But to be fair to him, he's managed to find some grip out there somehow when nobody's found it here tonight. And they're going to head side by side into turn one. It's Gudici versus Rafter down to turn one. And he's managed to get the place back within one corner. But what can Shartner do behind? He just seems to be happy to sit behind these two right now, as he's just trying to outbrake and just be the last of the late breakers and get the move done around the outside. It hasn't worked out for him, and they remain as they were. I think Rafter's managed to get on the grass there, and Gudici's going to get the run on him down. This down to the hairpin. It's going to be incredibly close, and no, they've all settled back down and pretty much in the order as they were this time last lap.
Yeah, definitely. I think Schuckner has got a ringside seat for the Italian show that's been happening in front of him, going backwards and forwards. But we'll see pick up on this battle for fourth with Nils Hofgaard in fourth with Tom Bingham behind him again. Again, right on the tail of him, but we'll have a look down this straight, the Ullman Straight, and Tom just not able, but getting a really good run out of this one. So maybe this time he can, as he pulls out, comes alongside him. Yeah, so he's going to have the inside line for Sunset, which will push Hofgaard onto the outside. So Tom might actually get the move done into the Sunset Bend here.
Who's going to be latest onto the brakes, and that looks like Bingham has finally, after nearly 20 minutes of following, he really runs outside using all of the track to its absolute limit. Tom Bingham has managed to get past fellow Porsche driver Hofgaard up into fourth place. Oh wow, absolutely brilliant move there. He's been setting him up for lap after lap and finally managing to get the move done. And we've got 8 minutes left. He was starting to run out of time, but can he hold on to it as everyone starts to throw a bit of caution to the wind, and we're going to see a fair few moves as Mattia just running a bit wide and then tripping over the Porsche there of Mcbride, and somehow just all managing to fold back in and miss one another. But look at the back of this group. It's Janowski and Broom, our front row from the grid. They're currently battling out over 19th place as we've got Broom on the outside and Janowski just running him right to the outside there, the ragged edge of the track.
Yeah, it can be brutal, these races, you know, after the euphoria of being like in the top 1 and 2 positions. Always see, I think that was Whitehouse there, Dave Whitehouse, spinning it coming down into turn number 3 and losing a few more places there. So having a consistent round was our fellow commentator Dave Whitehouse, but unfortunately having a spin and put him down into 21st as we pick up this battle again for P9. So we have Kindness at the front, Gittling in 10th and Upper-Mary in 11th place at the moment. So these three stuck together like glue and just constantly changing positions at the moment. So it's going to be an interesting last 2 or 3 laps we're going to have here around at Sebring to see who comes out on top in this battle for 9th place.
7 minutes is all that is left for drivers to try and get the move done. So we just see Janowski getting himself another place over Mcbride there. But Mcbride just sucking himself right up behind and just trying to get the place back and not able to get it done. But what can Broom do? we know that it is pace between him and Jovanovski. Obviously, started out of this race on the front row of the grid, so they just come through Le Mans. They're able to run it out off the track a little bit, but here comes Jovanovski using all of the brute power, the V8 in that BMW right now against Mattea, and I think he's going to get the move done. But look, if you look behind them, Vinagre just really capitalising in that double slipstream as they're going to go side by side through Sunset. Can Mattea hold on round the outside? He slots back in behind Jovanovski, sorry. Just managing there to hold on and not lose too much time as he's going to have a go down into turn one. We've seen incidents here. The Ferrari just twitching under braking there, and he needs to be careful because of the battle behind him. As you see Jovanovski just running out into the dirt, and somehow, Andrew, they all manage it to survive through that.
That was threading through the eye of a needle. That was I'm surprised there wasn't an incident there, but the driver's coming. Oh, we see Mattea's getting very wide coming off turn number 5. They're coming down here. Oh, as Andrew Brune gets pushed out wide, coming down the big bend, managing to save it. Is he going to save it? Yes, he does. Doesn't lose too many positions, but has lost a lot of time now over this battle for 18th place. So probably one to forget there for Andrew Brune at the this race in Sebring, obviously starting our pole position sitter, and both of them are pretty much down there in 16th and 19th place at the moment, so not having the best run of it at the moment. But we're watching the battle here for 9th between Kindness, getting just on the back of him in 10th. Mcbride just slightly still keeping in touch with these two in front of him, but this battle, like we said, P9 is going to go down to the wire. Only have 4 minutes left, so 2 more laps, probably maybe 3 laps left of this 60-minute race here to decide who's going to win this 9th place battle between Kindness, Gertling and Merrin. But he's just trying all the tricks to try and get that extra space on Kindness, but Kindness just keeping his lines, keeping it nice and quick. And it's good to see the Audis putting on a good show here, because I think it's been a dying car in iRacing, but certainly in this race it hasn't been. As we watched Merrily in, I think he might have underestimated his fuel here.
Well, looking at his stop, you know, the time he was stationary last for the pits, it was one of the shorter stops, and I was just reading in the chat on YouTube that Sincho is just saying, Hupcomel, go chase him. Well, he was trying, but it looks like he's run out of fuel. He's going to have to take a splash and dash to get himself home. Today here at Sebring, as you can just see, Kindness, he's on the lights there, doing anything he can right now to get that back marker out of the way, as he's locked in a battle with Gickling. And these two incredibly close, and they're going to go side by side through the hairpin. How's this going to end? And somehow, Kindness just getting his Audi out in front of the Ferrari of Gickling, but he's not giving it up. This is going to head now down side by side, coming into the corner. No, Gickling's just having to yield a little bit there, but he's prodding and poking, isn't he, Andrew? You can feel him coming, just really just trying to turn up the screw here against Kindness.
Yeah, it's putting a lot of pressure on Kindness. Kindness at the moment is managing the pressure that Gickling is providing on him, doing some rather excellent defending. But, you know, there's only so much you can do before you do make that unfortunate mistake. And Gickling is just showing his nose at every single corner. Kindness at the moment not biting or not going off his current line, so managing to stay up front. But these two are battling nose to tail, lap after lap after lap. So it's going to be a really entertaining last couple of laps from these guys at the moment, for all over for P9th as well. So it's not even for the top positions, but what a great show these two are putting on for us for tonight's race. But certainly not over yet, and Gickling will think that he can get that 9th place.
Look at this battle we've got going here. Over 12 for FTA, Gudici and Shartner. They've been together all race. Shartner's just been happy to sit behind them both. The two Ferrari drivers, the two Italians. And yet able to, I think he's probably been hoping to maybe just try and pick off a place where one of them makes a mistake, or sure, in part probably wishing, you know, they maybe come together so he can capitalise and get both of them in one go. But Shartner running out of time right now, and I don't know whether he is biding his time or he just doesn't seem to have an answer for the Ferrari.
No, definitely not. I mean, these two out in front are having an epic battle themselves, and like I said before, it's like the Italian show for Sharkno. They're sat in 14th place at the moment, just watching. And Andrew Broome comes into the pits again, so maybe underestimated his fuel as well. So a few mistakes creeping into the tail end of this race, and miscalculating the fuel, it seems like. And Andrew Broome that'll put him at the bottom of the pile. But we see Gickling here all over the back of Kindness at the moment, ducking inside, ducking outside, just trying to get him. Kindness just defensive position here, but you might have just opened the door here for Gickling. I don't know.
We'll find out very shortly. So we ride on board with Gickling. They're going to go side by side here. He's going to get the inside line. This is his chance. This is Gickling's chance now against Kindness. It's a drag race down to the next corner. The Audi having the outside line, managing to get the better runoff and carrying more speed as they now come from Gembian Bend. They're going to head down into Le Mans. They're through Gembian now. Yeah, there they go. They're heading down to Le Mans. Just picked up a little bit corner too early in my mind there. And now it's going to be a run out onto the Almond Straight. What could the V10 in that Audi do? Can it pull away from the V8 in that Ferrari? But he's going to have the slipstream. Kindness, he's already gone to the inside just to cover off the move. And to make sure that Gickling is going to have to try and get a move done around the outside. We've not seen it work tonight. But Gickling trying to look to cut back from taking that later apex and trying to carry as much speed as we see the white flag fly. There's one lap to go. This is it now. All or nothing for Gickling. Can he get the move on? Kindness. Let's head down to turn 1 and look how close he is. Up onto the back of that Audi right now. It is so close between them. But somehow, Kindness, he's managing to hold on to it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing an excellent defensive job here. Done exactly the right move there coming down the Ullman Straight. Take cover in that inside line because that's the strongest line that we've seen all night tonight. That any car that's gone on to the outside has not really had the move pay off. So done an excellent move. But, you know, all Gickling's going to do now, he's got one more opportunity, I think, in him to try and get past Kindness. But Kindness at the moment seems to have him covered at everything he throws at him. So, but it's been a great battle for them two over P9th. But looking at the front of the field, one driver that we haven't talked about a lot, but that's had an excellent race again. 8 seconds ahead of Gunduffy in second place is Matthew Mcbride of Team Scots here. Going to win this race quite comfortably. Probably can go into a canter and start enjoying the victory lap that he's going to have now, as we see in the background there. Gandolfi, who's quite a bit ahead of Tom Bingham, who's obviously moved up to 4th place. So, oh yeah, who did we have come into the pits? Petrovokius, wasn't it? So Tom Bingham is looking at the moment. He's about 3 seconds ahead of Hofgaard. But as we see, Matthew Mcbride taking the win here at round number 2 in Sebring for the GT Trophy AM Series. So a great result for him.
Absolutely clinical yet again here from Mcbride. That's precise as a surgeon's scalpel as they're all going to spread out. Look at the gap here between these guys. Going to try and come free wide across the line. Who's going to get it? Somehow, I think it was Bingham, but also, this battle behind them. Kindness versus Gickling, and looks like Kindness, he's running Gickling out to the edge of the track where we're seeing there is no grip there whatsoever, and Kindness holds on to that 8th place somehow. We see Shartner, he's incredible. He's dropped back. We did have, so this was a freeway battle between himself, Matea, and Refteer. Refteer, he had to head to the pits. Another driver to underfuel his car. The man lovers. There's someone already parked on the exit of the corner there.
Petro, isn't it?
It's Petrovicius.
Because...
He's run out of fuel.
Oh no!
He hasn't. That's why he's tumbled down, because he's run out of fuel.
Oh no!
After such a great race.
Oh, you'd be kicking yourself, wouldn't you?
Exit. Oh, literally, he is maybe 100, 200 meters from the finish line. And what
stopped a couple of laps before as well, didn't he? He stopped a couple of laps before, and it looked like for fuel. So went in, thought he'd just do a splash and dash.
No, he didn't. Actually, no. Looking back at unless it's wrong by end, Andrew. Apparently, he didn't stop, and that's where I'm guessing he must have been chugging. You know, where the car was starting to run out of fuel, and he was heavily fuel saving to try and lose as few places, but just try and get the car over the line. And there you go. You see the end result. It hasn't worked for him. and he's run out of fuel. And after such a great display, I think he got high up as 3rd place at one point, and he's well, we'll see when we go through the classified race results where he ended up. Go for him, but yeah, as you said, the winner for round 2, 2 from 2, is Matthew Mcbride. That's Godolphy in 2nd, and Bingham rounding out the podium here for round 2 at Sebring. Narrowly beating Hofgaard, who was in 4th. Matt Hubbard comes home in 5th place for Audi. Then it was Manners, and then Hobart in 7th. Kindness comes home in 8th, just this absolutely brilliant battle with Gickling. Then Stuart Winnes. Brilliant display from him last time. Not this week. He's come home in 10th place. Gudici is 11th. Jovanovski, Mateja, Shatner, Whitehouse. Great display from him in 15th. Malov is 16th. Hupka Merl, 17th. Pajero, he came home in 18th. There's Vinagre. He is in 19th. And Fernando Torres running out the top 20. There's Raffatea, Colin Shaw, Robson, Petrovicius coming home in 24th and actually classified a lap down because he ran out of fuel. Christensen was 25th, Broom 26th, Rankin 27th. All those drivers a lap down. Then 5 laps down was Offstrom, Engelhardt 12 laps down, Edel 15, and then last place was Loxon, who obviously took those last few drivers, just retiring the car there due to damage.
Just having a look at the, just looking at the points here in the championships, and obviously Matthew Mcbride with his 2nd in the first race and 1st in there will be top. Albert Gaddafi started off in 3rd in this championship, will move up to 2nd, and I think Tom Bingham with that 3rd place with Andrew Broom, Gickling and Stuart Winus obviously not having the best of rounds there, will move up to 3rd in the championship. So certainly all changed there in the champion standings at the end of that round.
Well, we're now joined by, you mentioned his name there, Andrew. We are joined by Matthew Mcbride for BMW, winner here at Sebring. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, yeah.
Another dominant display from you. Did you expect to finish over 8 seconds clear of 2nd place?
No, to be honest, I was targeting top 5. I knew I wasn't quick around this track, and I don't feel like the BMW is really that strong around here either. So during testing, I just set the car up to be consistent, and I think that kind of paid off. Other than the battle on lap 1, I kind of just concentrated on my laps.
Yeah, I mean, we sort of picked you up sort of later in the race and sort of said that we'd hardly mentioned you because you've just been so far clear and just in that little pocket by yourself, which seem to be just growing. You know, the gap between yourself and 2nd as the race went on. Obviously, next week we head to Suzuka. How are you feeling about that one?
Well, that's a brand new track to me. I don't even own it yet. So I'll get
a bit
about
of
a
practice
night and
in
a
the week ahead, I feel, coming in then.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a 15-month-old baby, so practice is quite restricted just now. So hopefully I'll get one night in.
You never know. Rather than just the hour before the, 2 hours before the set, the race qualifying starts. So, great to hear from you as always, and congratulations on the win. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thanks to?
I'll say thanks to Adam Kindness for getting the paint supplied. I don't think they're ready this week, but they are next week. And thanks to Stuart for not beating me this time.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That's Matthew Mcbride, your winner here for round 2 at Sebring. Wow. I'll tell you what, should we speak to, next up, should we speak to your friend and came home with a brilliant drive, 3rd place on the podium. It's Tom Bingham. Over to you, Andrew.
Tom, welcome to the commentary box, and what a great round for you there, mate.
Yeah, not too bad. Oh, terrible quali again. What is it with the quali in this season? Like, I just cannot, in practice in front, P1 by 0.2, and then P10 in quali. I just don't get it. Can't put it together.
I'll tell you afterwards what you went wrong on that, Tom. So it's just you, mate. That's it. But no, we watched an absolute epic battle between yourself and Niels Hilgard for pretty much the last 20 minutes of that race, with you being behind him for about 15 minutes of them. Did you actually feel that I'm not going to be able to pass this guy. He just didn't seem to make a mistake. And I think the pass was finally made coming out of a really good exit from yourself off Le Mans and managing to get him down into Sunset Corner. So, was that the area that you were targeting to try and get past Hofgaard?
Yeah, the trouble is he was running a lot less wing than me. So breaking into the corners and that sort of stuff, I had him. I was sort of all over him there. But on the exits, he would just start peeling away from me. I could have sent it on him, but I thought, you know what? Like, it's not worth the risk. It's a long race. And obviously, I don't want to ruin his race at the same time by doing something stupid. So I sent it earlier on in the race on somebody, and I missed my braking marker by miles and nearly ended my own race and somebody else's. So it taught me a lesson, and I just bided my time, looked to see when he was bad on an exit, and I just about got it done. So, but it was a bit hairy going into Sunset side by side. He was holding me to the last second there. I didn't know if I was going to stop in time. So great racing by him.
No, it was great to watch. You coming up, like you said, you had a bad qualifying start there, but you managed to pick yourself up and get in the last position on the podium there in P3. So congratulations, Tom, and you must be ecstatic about this round. Got Suzuka next. How are you feeling about that one?
It's 50-50. Like, Suzuka's, it's probably going to be quite good in the Porsche, I would think, but it's going to be easy to lose the balance. Like on Sebring, for example, in turn 1, you really had to go from brake immediately onto throttle to balance the car nicely. And with all the Suzuka, the major S's at the beginning, it's going to be tricky towards the end of the race. So we'll see how it goes. If I can look after the tyres, it'll probably be quite good.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for joining us and congratulations on your third place here at Sebring. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Tom?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to you guys, obviously, for doing the commentary, all the Performance Link guys, my dad who was watching, and my wife for putting up my sim racing. So, yeah, all good.
Well, congratulations there, Tom, and a well-deserved third place in the end with an epic battle between yourself and Hofgaard. So look forward to seeing
mate.
it. Catch you later.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.
Thank you. All right, for the last one, Andrew, I'll let you pick and choose and take whoever you want from whoever's sat in the green room currently.
Let's pick our fellow commentator, Dave Whitehouse, to come in. So, did you want to take this one, Tim?
No, you can. I'll let you have the honours.
Oh, so kind, so kind. So, Dave, welcome to the commentary box. Usually on this side of the line. Obviously, this time on the other side as one of the drivers. How are you finding it in the championship so far, mate?
Very tough. I mean, we call this the AM Championship. Yeah, we're probably slightly a bit slower, slightly less experienced than the pro drivers, but they are still deadly quick. If I could sort out my qualifying, I might be up there with them, but in terms of the actual racing, and it's really respectful as well. I mean, I've hardly seen anything which I'd say that shouldn't be happening or anything like that. So out of the first 2 races, it's been quite good.
No, that's good. And obviously managing to get up to P15th, up 11 places from where you started in, like you said, you qualified in the 26th position. Was your tactic to stay at the back at the beginning to try and keep out of the way of the carnage that can always normally ensue, but unfortunately it didn't pay off because everyone kept it clean on that first lap?
I wish I could tell you it was a plan, but it wasn't. No, that's just my pacing qualifying. I don't know why. I just can't seem to qualify very well. But going to the teens in the first round at Nürburgring, I think it was down in 26th this time, but just sort of kept it on the island. Thought I was going to get a Nortex race until I had my half spin. And
well, that mate, don't worry.
That's why I got to 15th. I got to 16th. Thought I'll have top 15 here. I was catching a pack in front and then half spun it and I couldn't rejoin quickly because I think 4 or 5 cars were coming through. So I thought top 20, I'll be happy with that. And then all of a sudden cross the line in 15th.
You'll be happy with that. So what's it like being on the other side of the fence then?
A lot more stressful. A lot more stressful. Luckily, I mean, I said to you before the race, I just didn't feel comfortable with the car, didn't feel quick, and then sort of found my pace over the race. But it's definitely a lot of fun in this championship.
Definitely. I mean, before we let you go, Dave, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Well, of course, I'll give a shout out to you boys and Dennis on production and all the Apex Racing crew for putting this championship and this TV and this live stream on. Also to Seesaw Digital for sponsoring my car.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us, Dave, and we'll try and get you in a few times to get your commentary side view of the truck racing on the field. But thanks for joining us today, and congratulations on the best finish so far, P15th. As Jazz used to say, the only way is up. So you keep going, mate, and we'll see you in Suzuka next week.
Yes, thanks. See you next week.
Cheers, Dave. Dave Whitehouse there, ending in 15th place, one of our co-commentators here for the Pro Championship. So, seeing what life is like on the other side of the fence.
I don't know about yourself, but see, I'm very much the those who can do it, do it. Those who can't do it, talk about it. And yourself being in the commentary booth, that is definitely, you see what side of the fence that I lie on that one. Just want to say, obviously, if tonight's action has not been enough for you, we've got a couple of days break, but then on the 29th, so in 3 days time, which is Friday, at 7 PM GMT, we've got round 7 of the Apex Racing Porsche Carrera Cup. That is from Mount Panorama. That's a track that never fails to deliver an action. And then on the same night, 2 hours later, so 9 PM GMT, we have got also at Mount Panorama, it's the Radicals for round 7 of their championship as well. But then it follows basically a couple of busy days, because then on the day after, on the 30th, which is Saturday, we have got round 6 of Monza Formula Renault 2.0, followed by Finding Speed GT3 League, and also the Formula Renault 3.5 there at Hockenheim for round 7. So plenty of action coming here up here on the channel. Of course, thanks to our sponsors, SDK Gaming, VRS, and of course Apex Racing Academy. As we mentioned, next week we are off to Suzuka. If you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification on YouTube. But also you can follow us on Twitter. We are at Apex Racing TV. Facebook is facebook.com/Apex Racing TV. And finally, Instagram, it's Apex Racing TV. From myself, Andrew, and Dennis, we will see you in a week's time from Suzuka. Good night.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.